Hi everyone! In this video, I'd like to show you a brief demo of Trace Recorder, a new plugin for IntelliJ IDEA. The idea is simple. Instead of running the same failing test over and over with more printline calls and breakpoints, you run it once. Trace Recorder records what happened, and you explore that recording in the IDE. I'll illustrate this with a small example. The code is simple, but the workflow is the same for bigger projects. Here I have a function called sum of numbers. It takes a list of integers and is supposed to return their sum. There is also a test that builds a list of 1, 2, 3, calls sum of numbers and checks that the result is 6. I run this test in the normal way. The test expected 6, but the actual value is 3. Now let's run the same test with Trace Recorder. I select the Run with Trace Recorder configuration and rerun the test. The test still fails, but now Trace Recorder has recorded this run. On the right side, you can see the Trace Recorder tool window. Here we present the entire history of this test execution as a call tree. At the top level, you see the test method. When I click on it, you see the call to sum of numbers. Now I click on this sum of numbers node. Trace Recorder shows all the details for this call, including the arguments and the return value. You can see that the function returned 3. If I expand the inner steps, you can see how we got this result. We process the first element, we process the second element, and then we stop. So we only process 1 and 2, and we never touch the last element. The nice thing is that I didn't have to run the test multiple times or step through it line by line. I ran it once, and now I can read this run as a story. Now let's talk about breakpoints. With the normal debugger, I would set a breakpoint at the line processing the list element and then step through the loop. Let's do the same thing, but for Trace Recorder. I put a breakpoint on the line where we process each element in the list. Then I click on the breakpoint filter. After that, the trace view shows only the events that are marked with a breakpoint. This makes the execution easier to understand. On a larger test with many calls, this is a nice way to focus on the parts of the run that matter, without losing the rest of the context. You record once, and then you change how you look at that recording, instead of running the test again and again. That's the idea behind Trace Recorder. One run, and a clear story of what happened.